Are you still waiting for the new PlayStation 5? Or perhaps NVIDIA's latest high-end graphics card, the RTX 30 series? Maybe a new model of smartphone, a TV, or some other gadget? If so, you're not alone. The technology industry is being affected just as much by the global pandemic as other aspects of life on planet Earth. Even if we don't talk about it as much as, say, catering and public health. That's why today, TechWikis, we're going to talk about the effects that COVID-19 is having on tech industries now, and make some predictions on how that will affect life after this is all said and done. Besides the cancellation of technology-related events, MWC, Facebook's F8, and Google's I.O. being just a few, the products of tech industries are unable to be manufactured to satisfy demand. This is because devices put together in factories aren't built from scratch on site. Smaller components, such as screens and computer chips, are built elsewhere, in specialist factories, and then sent on to be put together. If just one factory, making just one part of the product's supply chain goes out of commission, the whole product cannot be made. The most famous story related to this event is TSMC, the giant semiconductor manufacturing company that affected both China and the US in many industries. This is a topic for a future episode, so stay tuned. Also, unsurprisingly, many companies rely on parts built in China. In particular, many screens are constructed in the city of Wuhan, where COVID-19 originated. Given this and the country's high population density, the Chinese government has taken a very strict stance on health and safety. Lockdowns, quarantines, and forced factory closures are resulting in considerable delays in the output of these products. In addition to you not receiving your latest gadgets, this is costing companies millions of dollars in revenue. NVIDIA has stated they expect to lose $100 million in revenues next quarter. Although unlikely that big companies like NVIDIA are going to go under because of this, some smaller companies are already gone. With no way of knowing exactly how long world governments are going to deem lockdowns necessary, there's also no way of knowing just how much companies, big and small, are going to lose out. However, there is a bright side. Certain companies are actually doing better in the climate of the pandemic. These are companies that thrive on connecting people within the comfort of their own homes. Zoom is the obvious one that comes to mind. It is now being used for business, education, and personal connections. In 2020, it was the most downloaded app on the iPhone App Store, and its profits quadrupled from 2019 to 2020. But Zoom isn't the only one. There are many other companies that prospered in the pandemic, like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla, with almost $1 trillion market cap added in total. And many other companies gained more value during the pandemic. If you think about it, you will find that most of these companies have one thing in common. They were already on their mission to transform our lives into the future before the pandemic, by providing digital services, or even using automation in their infrastructure, which led them to see more success, or at least not affected by the pandemic. Not all companies are guilty of not digitalizing their services or using full automation in their production lines, because some industries have their services built on the inevitable of meeting the end customer, like traveling industries, which affected by result the oil and gas industries. The list is huge, and we will take a lot of time to count it. But the most important question here, is there a way to solve this issue? In other words, can we use this pandemic situation to think about reducing future risks? But remember, some of the infrastructures of these industries are really hard to change, like airlines, hotels, live sports, and more. Comment below if you see potential in changing the infrastructure of one of these industries. It's hard to tell, but what we are sure about is that most of the affected companies right now are searching for digitalization and automation. In the future, more will be digital, and more studies will appear to reduce the risk of getting affected by future pandemics. The only thing we have to be thankful for having is technology. The relationship between humans and digital technologies have to be enhanced and increased. For example, in the healthcare field, the most commonly reported activities were providing health services remotely, communicating and monitoring. Even produce guidelines for how and when to provide specific kinds of healthcare-related activities through technology during the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, we here at TechWiki hope for better health for everyone and to get back to normal life. Also, you will find some guidelines in the description for the diagnosis, treatment, and control of the coronavirus disease. Thanks for watching.